Next we have the ear controls. The ear controls are going to be rotational controls, and I'm not going to use a constraint. Instead, I am going to use a more direct connection method, and I will show you two different ways to do that. The first thing we're going to have to do is we are going to have to very carefully make curves that align with the rotation of the joints. And for this, freezing transformations is absolutely not going to work. I need to work with either my placement matrix or my group nodes, and I'm going to be working with group nodes. The other little trick that I'm going to do here is a constraint trick. You're going to love this once you get it. It might take you a couple of tries to get it though. So these rotation controls I'm going to make out of arrow curves. And I will just take this and shrink it down a little bit. And while it's still right here at the origin, I am going to freeze transformations on it. Now I am going to group it to itself, Control G. So now I've got this group 1 and this arrow curve. Here's the trick. When I click on this joint, I can see its relative placement information, but not its world space placement information, and I can't see its rotate information. That's saved in the joint orient. I want to be able to align my curve's rotation with the orientation of the joint, and there's just no easy way for me to do this manually. But if I go to my constraint menu and I generate a parent constraint, I can have the computer snap the curve to the joint and mimic the orientation in one easy step. All I have to do is uncheck Maintain Offset. By unchecking Maintain Offset, the parent constraint will smush things together. So here's the trick. I am going to select the joint first, then I'm going to use my Control or my Command key to select the group node. So the joint and the group node, not the curve, no, just the group. Over here in my parent constraint options, because Maintain Offset is unchecked, they will snap together as soon as I hit Apply. There they go. Isn't that beautiful? Trust me, it's gorgeous. You've never seen anything like it in your life. Snapping! Snapping! It's beautiful. So I can take this here, this parent constraint. I no longer need it. I was just using it for snapping purposes, and I can delete it. It's gone. So now I've got this group node and this arrow curve. The arrow curve is nice and pristine. It will be easy for my animator to reset this. Lovely. The group node has all of this delicate information in it. Now, the arrow curve itself is kind of sticking into the ear a little bit here, which is not good. So I would like to move this arrow curve around a little bit, just a tiny bit. Instead of moving the curve itself, I'm going to move the control vertices of the curve. And this is one of those silly things, but if I go to control vertex mode and I try to window select, you'll see that that happens. And that's because Maya has a selection order that always wants to select joints above everything else. So just to make my life easy, I am going to take the root joint, stick it on a layer. We'll call this my joint layer. And I will set that to be a reference layer so that I can still snap to it if I need to, but it's not immediately selectable. And now when I go to control vertex mode, I can take this. I'm going to rotate so that the arrow is pointed at the joint. And then I'm going to go to move, and in my Control Shift right click menu, I'll just switch that over to component, and that's going to allow me to move more or less in the direction the arrow is pointing. It's a little bit offset, but I can deal with that. Maybe I'll make that a little smaller. Perfect. And now when I go back to object mode, you will see that the pivot point is still right here where the joint lives. It is not offset from the joint in any way. My channel box is still clean, but if I turn my geometry back on, the arrow is nice and easy to see. So that's going to be my first ear control, and I know that that was not easy. It wasn't, it was weird. So I'm going to repeat that one more time to do this middle joint, and I'll tell you the good news. The good news is that we don't have to make a control for this topmost joint, so we're only doing 2 joints on the ear. I'll do that in the next video because I feel like this one is getting a little bit long-winded. So I will pause here, let you try that first ear control, and when I come back, we'll do the second ear control.